For now, I would just like you to comfortably sit on your mat, get into a nice relaxing pose, something that gives you comfort. If you maybe perhaps want to take a blanket, put it under your seat to make sure your sitting bones are nice and sit down. Now, again, I want to make sure it's very clear that this is your practice. I will be helping you and leading you along the way with some guides and suggestions. But for today and for any other yoga practice, you do what's best for your body and your mind and your heart and your soul. So as I say that, we will be doing different variations and options throughout the class, and I want you to do whatever is the most comfortable for your body. We're working our way into different yoga poses and different levels, I guess you could say. And right now, we're just going to be doing some basics, just this simple, nice step to get our bodies through the rest of the work week. Now, if I invite you to come and sit on your sitting bones, feel them nice and rooted on the ground, like a tree. You can have your legs crossed across the other way or in lotus. I invite you just to put each hand on a knee, just ever so slightly, just a little love. And I'd like just to slowly start engaging by moving forward and back. Just ever so slight little movements, making sure our sitting bones are on the floor. Wonderful. Now let's take our torso and our hips, and we're just gonna put our hands right on either side. And we're going to do some small circles, but we're gonna make sure that we're not overextending our own range of motion, and make sure that as we're circling our torso, our sitting bones aren't coming off of the floor. So we'll go one way. You can feel a little bit of those cracks and kinks and cracks that are coming out. And let's go the other way. One of the parts of practice that I really like to make sure that everyone knows is that this practice isn't all about going 100%. We want to make sure we're giving our bodies the proper range of motion that it has. So we don't want to stretch too far. We don't want to strain. We want to simply stretch and not strain. All right, so before we start our sequence, I want to introduce you to a little breathing exercise. Now, it's getting a little colder outside. Our bodies are, it's hot when you get inside. It's freezing when you get outside. But it's really important, especially during the pandemic, to make sure that we're carrying respiratory system and that we're working on our breath, our breathing, and making sure that everything fills up with oxygen in the right way to help us live our daily lives. So we're going to practice today is breath, and it's under the Kundalini branch of yoga, which is a very, very ancient yogi tradition. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to start off by very, very quickly with our nose only. We're not going to breathe through our mouth, only our nose. And we're going to inhale for 1 minute as fast as we can. It's going to sound a little bit different and a little bit strange, but I invite you to join me, and we will start right now by just going. And if you need to stop, because I just had to stop, but stop as much as you need to along the way and take a breath and keep going. So all you're doing is breathing in really, really fast. Wonderful. Let's try that for 20 more seconds, and then we'll do it again on the reverse way and exhaling. So breathing in. And hold. And one exhale. Nice. Now let's try that again, and we'll just do little exhales for about 20 seconds. Wonderful. Does tend to feel like it's Kundalini breath, but I like to call it dog breath because it really sounds like you're kind of like a dog sniffing in and out. As we do that, I want everyone to put our hands on our chest and feel a slight difference in breath. Breathe in through our nose and exhale out through our nose. It's a very great way of helping us connect our body with all the oxygen that it needs. And it's also a very good way to regulate your body temperature. So if you're ever sick or ever, personally, if I'm ever having any sort of anxiety, just doing a little bit of the Kundalini breath really helps give you a moment of nice and peace, serenity, and a little bit more softness of soul. All right, now I'm going to invite everyone to join me by standing up into mountain pose. Now, one thing I should have mentioned at the beginning, this is your practice. If there's any time throughout where you need to get a sip of water or take a bathroom break or anything, please do so because I want you to be as most comfortable as you can be. So, stand in our mountain pose. Feel the same connection on the mat like we did with our sitting bones. And we're going to take our feet. We're going to pretend that we have little triangles on our feet and find our balance within our triangles of the feet. So we have hips stacked over ankles, shoulders stacked over hips. And if you place our palms out and shoulders back. And let's take 3 breaths in this pose. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, because we're working on our strength and our warrior today, we're going to start off by giving love to all of the most important parts of our body. I'm going to hold it all up. Let's begin with our head. And I invite you to look to the right very slightly. And center. Very slightly. And center. To the side. Leaning. And center. And to the other side. And center. It's very important. Our head is one of the heaviest parts of our body. So it's very, very important that we give our neck lots of love and attention. Neck forward and slightly back. Wonderful. Now let's try that again and make sure, let's maintain the same speed. So our neck, we don't want to ever strain. We just want to give it a little bit of a stretch. So go to the right and center and left and center and to the side, center, to the side and center, and just ever so slightly forward and ever so slightly backward. Wonderful. Now let's go down to our shoulders. So we're still in our mountain pose. Give it a little shake if you need to. Finding our hips over our ankles, our shoulders stuck right over top of our hips. Now I invite everyone to take a deep inhale in, raising your shoulders up as high as they go and letting go. Let's try that a few more times. So bring our shoulder blades as high as they can and let them go. Take 2 more times. Up and go. Wonderful. Now let's take the shoulders and just do small little circles. Now, I sometimes like to take my arms and make little tents and sort of circle my elbows and really find my own range. Another thing that's really important for our practice is to remember our own range of motion. If perhaps straining, going too far back, or lifting your shoulders up, or even just making the circular motion, if it's too much, don't worry, just do slightly little movements. We want to stretch our body, not to strain. Let's do 3 more on this side. Get those kinks out. And let's do 5 on this the other way. 2, 4, and 5. Wonderful. Now I invite everyone to take your arms, wave them around, give them a little bit energy. Wonderful. Now we're gonna do what I like to call empty sleeves. And we're just gonna drop our arms and flap them from side to side, just on our shoulder length. Pretend it's just dead weight, moving side to side, just getting those shoulder joints a little bit more movement. All right, hands down, and let's shake that out again. Got the neck and the shoulders. Now let's focus on our wrists. So let's keep them in front of us. And what we're going to do is we're going to raise each finger down. So let's start with our pinkies, ring finger, middle, index, thumb. And now let's do that in reverse. Thumb, index, middle finger, ring, pinky. Wonderful. Now let's pretend we're walking our hands. It's like when we walk out our downward dog. And just slightly move the wrists up and down, up and down. Wonderful. Let's keep them back up. And let's try circling in one direction. And the next other direction. Wonderful. Now I invite you to take one palm out in front of you and take the other right to this palm. And if you feel a stretch already, then you're in a perfect spot. But if you'd like a little bit more, I just invite you to just very ever so gently, just like with our neck, and push the fingers back ever so slightly. And remember that on range of motion we have. And down. And let's put the hands down and bring the hand back up. And remember our own range of motion and slightly back. Wonderful. Down. All right, so we've got 3 joints down. Let's go on to our hips. They got lots to do. They're helping us out so much these days. All right, so let's find our hands on our hips and just simply rock side to side. Looks cool. You feel cool. Maybe a little sarcastic. All right, now I invite you to start from the left, and we are going to circle our hips all the way around. Now remember our own range of motion, and if we feel like it's a little bit unstable for us, just reposition our mountain pose. So if this feels like you're a little too wobbly, maybe spread your feet out a little bit and give you a little bit more room for balance. So we'll put our hands on our hips and we'll start from the left and work all the way around, making sure that the knees are bent. All the way here, a couple cracks myself. And let's go 2 more this way. Wonderful. And neutral. And now, little knees bent. And we'll start at the right. And work our way around. really want it to go back, really try and exaggerate it. Let's do one more. Wonderful. And back to neutral. All right, give her a little shake. Now, we're going to try a little bit of a hip opening to help with these guys, but also a little bit of a balance pose. So if you have a chair or a wall, if you would like a little bit of help with the balancing, or if you're just feeling a little bit off today, that's totally fine. I want you to make sure you're doing whatever you need to do for yourself. So let's find our tree. So we're going to take our left foot ever so slightly, putting our weight down there, making sure this left foot is our root. And we'll just take our other foot and on the ball of our foot, bend it a little, and we'll turn the right foot out, and we'll slightly lift the leg. Now, it does not matter if we're down low, if our tree's up here, wherever you want it to be, wherever is most comfortable. The idea, what we may make sure, is that this hip opening is really nice and stable. And once we find that, we can do whatever we like. We can let the branches in our tree wave around, or if we are feeling in our warrior self today, let's bring them up nice and strong. And we'll hold for 5 breaths. Wonderful. And we'll bring the right leg to center, up and down, and arms down. Wonderful. Shake that out a little. And putting our weight into our right leg and bringing our left foot up to our ball of our foot and slightly turning out and raising it up. Now, the foot really should be right above the ankle or underneath the knee on the calf. We don't want to make sure that our foot's anywhere near our knee because we don't want to put any pressure there. So, turned out, you can feel our balance. And I invite you to bring your strong warrior arms up. And let's hold for 5 breaths. And arms down, feet back to center, down. Wonderful, wonderful. So you feel those hips? They got nice little openings. Wonderful. Now we're just going to do a couple of lifts, fold and a halfway lift to get those knees going a little bit here. So I invite you to come to the short edge of your mat. We're going to slightly bend the knee and hinge our hips forward, right to the mat with our halfway lift and up, and then halfway and up, and let's go all the way down for a forward fold. Now make sure those knees are a little bent, and if you can't quite make it to the ground, that's okay. You go to use your own range of motion. And halfway lift with the knees bent, and down, and up, and down. Wonderful. Now, as we're right here, let's come into our halfway lift and bring arms all the way around to meet us up high. Now, bring it down, kick it out. Now let's get into our warrior. So I invite you at the back of your mat to stand at the back, and we are going to slightly put our right leg in front of us. We see that our feet are both parallel to the ground. They are on their own train track, so to speak. So we feel nice and stable. Now, your warrior can look like this, like this, or like this, whatever is most comfortable. For today, mine's feeling right like this. So we are engaging each foot. Get those triangles of the feet down, suction cup to our mat. Our knees are bent, parallel to right in front of us. And let's incorporate our arms and bring that strong warrior arm up. Warrior one arm up. My apologies. And let's hold here for 5 breaths. Find that stability, but also the stretch and not the strain. Wonderful. And let's bring our arms down. And we're going to bend our legs, bend our knees, and let that back foot come forward. Wonderful. Now, let's reverse on the other side. So we're going to step our right leg back, finding our warrior one with our parallel feet. And the distance that is best for our own range of motion. Slightly bend, or however much you bend you're feeling today. And let's power in those arms. As soon as I power up my arms, it makes me feel like a warrior. Nice and strong. Let's hold here for 3 breaths. Wonderful. Now I invite you to put the arms down and bounce that back foot with the right knee or the left knee already bent and come to a standing forward fold. Wonderful. Let's shake that out a little bit. Let's expand our warrior a little bit. So we'll come back to the back of our mat and we will step our right leg forward and we will turn out the left leg so it is on a horizontal plane and the right foot is parallel in front of us. Now we have the knees bent and we feel like we are in our stable position and incorporate our arms. So right arm comes over out and left arm comes back. And let's just sink into this. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. Wonderful. Down. And let's pulse that back leg up to the front. Wonderful. And let's go on the other side. So we're bringing that right leg back, left leg front, both bent. The back is horizontally planed. And incorporate those arms. And feel that stretch. Feel the stretch in the front leg and the back leg and the hip. Let's hold here for 3 breaths. And let's a little shift and back in position and bounce that back leg up to the front. Wonderful. Now, we did our knees, we did our hips. The last thing we need to work on is those ankles. So, as we did with the tree, let's put a little bit of weight into the left leg and take the other foot out and do some circles. Circle on one side, circle the other side, and we'll try it again on one side and switch over to the other. Shake it out a little bit and transfer the weight over. And circle the left foot one way and the other way. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Now, I invite everyone to take whatever movements you have left in your body while we're up here. I want to dance a little bit, shake the hips out. Got everything? Whew. All right. Now let's work our way down to the ground. Now, for our cool down today, I'd like you to use whatever around you that makes you most comfortable. If you have a scarf you want to cozy up with, a blanket, put some socks on, whatever makes you most comfy. And once you've done that, I invite you to come into a butterfly position with our feet touching together, sitting bones on nicely placed on the mat, our back straight, arms down on knees and palms facing out. And once you're here, I invite you to stay here for 5 breaths with deep inhales in the nose and exhales through the nose. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I would like to do one more little back exercise before we come into our final resting pose. For this exercise, I invite you to put one leg in front of the other. And we're gonna reach our arms up as we did in Warrior One. And we'll take our right hand right behind us and our left hand to our right knee for a very simple twist. Just from the torso. And if you'd like to extend the twist, just slightly look towards the back hand. Up, neutral, and let's do on the other side. Left hand back, right hand meets left knee, and twist. And putting our head in that direction to extend. And coming back to neutral. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, I would invite you now to take whatever shape feels best for you for our Shavasana today. So whether laying on the back, on the tummy, whether you just want to have a little sit and put something under your legs, whatever makes you feel most comfortable at this moment. I'll give you a couple minutes. Now, as we get into this final resting pose, wherever you are, I just want you to think about what we did today. Think about the meaning and our intention behind our poses. We wanted to create strength within our own inner warrior. We maintained our stability with our tree and rooted in the ground. And we practiced an ancient breathing tradition through the Kundalini practice of yoga. Now I leave you, and when it is time, I will bring you back with the sound of my voice. I slowly invite you to bring back your focus, keeping in your position, being as comfortable as can be, noticing what there is to notice. Slowly add some movement, running our fingers over each other, slightly touching each one. Bring some movement to the toes, to the body. During our warrior flow today, I thought to myself, what is a warrior? What makes us become a warrior? Who defines us as being a warrior? And it is you. You're a warrior. You've conquered your day, conquered this practice, and you've conquered a little bit of solstice for yourself and your heart and your soul for the rest of the evening. I invite you now to whatever way is most comfortable for you to slowly find yourself in a seated position. As we did at the beginning of class. Very slowly find our way to the mat. There's a wonderful quote by one of my favorite personal heroes, and it's very simple. My daily challenge to myself is to be part of the solution and to be a joyful warrior. I hope this practice brought you joy right now, brings you joy in the future, and gives you enough joy to fill your soul for a good night's rest and for that one more work day of the week tomorrow. Let's find ourselves in this seated position. Stretch out our neck a little, shoulder roll from side to side, feeling nice and comfortable. And I invite you to put your hands on your legs. Take 2 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. I invite you to put your hands on the chest. Again. In. In. Out. One more time. In. Out. Wonderful. Now I invite you to place your hands in heart center. Begin thanking the lovely, wonderful people that created this earth, our founding fathers, and our indigenous ancestors for this land. I want to thank all of you for coming to this practice today and joining me. I want to thank you for letting me lead you and guide you through our movements today. In our founding fathers and the indigenous tribes that founded our earth and our society. And let's thank the founding fathers that created this practice and created the lovely, lovely greeting that I will now leave you with. Namaste is a very sacred word in the Sanskrit language. And namaste is the light and the love in me honors the light and the love in all of you. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great rest of the evening.